birds closing down the Bellagio fountains? A 50-foot robot wandering the Nevada desert? It's April Fool's Day in Las Vegas, and this week in gambling, it's up to you to figure out which of these stories are true and which are just an April Fool. From nuclear blasts to contests with spoons, we've got several strange and possibly true stories from Las Vegas. Which of these actually happened and which are complete bullshit? We'll let you know in just a moment, but see if you can figure it out. And no using Google. In honor of April Fool's Day, we're covering some of the weirdest stories we could find out of Sin City. At least one of them is true, and at least one of them is made up. So let's get things started with the loon that shut down the Bellagio, or at least their fountain show. Not long ago, one of the 10 rarest birds in America decided to make the Bellagio fountains their home. A yellow-billed loon moved into their pool, prompting Bellagio to shut off the fountains. The Nevada Department of Wildlife stepped in and captured the bird, who was in good health, and released unharmed to a more suitable remote location. But still, a bird shut down the Bellagio fountains? I thought only F1 could do that. And since you know that I would never lead off the show with a fake story, this one has to be real. Right? Okay, so if that one is true, then this next story's probably fake, because surely no one would stick spoons to their body for money. Well, tell that to the people who attended the International Spoon Balancing Championship in Vegas several years ago. The competitive Spoons League held their annual competition at Excalibur back in 2007, as players squared off to see how many spoons they could balance on themselves. There was even an egg and spoon race. A Russian man crushed all the other competitors by balancing 84 spoons on his body, taking the Golden Spoon Award back home to St. Petersburg. Of course, this is a very, very stupid story. But is it stupid enough to be a load of crap? We'll find out in just a moment, because we're only halfway done, and not even to the weird stuff yet. Up next, a story that cannot possibly be fake, because there's just no way anyone could make up something this ridiculous or terrifying, as Michael Jackson once had plans to build a 50-foot robot of himself that would wander the Nevada desert. Billed as an advertisement for a 2005 residency that never happened, the Iron Giant would have been visible from the airport. However, the project was so ambitious and so expensive, it never happened. This story is just too strange to be made up, but how could it possibly be true? Now, before we get to our last story and find out which of these are real and which are bullshit, we had some actual gambling news this week. Casino City covered stories from FanDuel, who just launched what they are calling the first gambling TV show, although we feel that's debatable. Plus, Robinhood has jumped into the predictions market, and you can read all of these stories and more when you visit them at online.casinocity.com. Our last story for this special April Fool's Day show is about something most of us have never seen, and hopefully we never will. Because in the 1950s, people were headed to Las Vegas to see the atomic bomb. Believe it or not, tourists used to gather in Las Vegas to watch the detonation and mushroom clouds from nearby nuclear blasts, lighting up downtown like it was daytime. Vegas hotels even promoted the explosions to draw in business, throwing all-night parties with an atomic theme. No worries about incineration, radiation, or going blind. But hey, that was Vegas in the 50s, baby! Or was it? I mean, were people really that ignorant? Let's find out. First, a bird shutting down the Bellagio fountains may sound odd, but it happened about this time last year. Oh, and as far as people visiting Las Vegas to watch an atomic bomb explode, as bizarre and dangerous as it sounds, that story is also true. That leaves the spoons competition and the 50-foot Michael Jackson robot. And as I'm sure you've probably figured out by now, that Michael Jackson story is completely true. I guess when you have $350 million in the bank, you can afford to dream big. But a spoon balancing competition? People do balance spoons on their naked bodies. Don't ask us why. But an organized competition with a Golden Spoon Award? Complete fertilizer. Sorry if some of you diehard spoon balancers out there got too excited, but even if it was a real competition, it still would not be anywhere close to the weirdest thing we've seen in Vegas. Hey, when we're not having fun with April Fool's Day shows, we're producing fresh gambling content every week. So make sure you don't miss an update and subscribe to our channel. He hates these cans.